Hello, members of the league. I would like to welcome you to the very first episode of what I hope is many, which is 5 Happy Minutes, where we take 5 minutes to dive into some of the most pressing issues and some of the most interesting issues going on in the league today. I will introduce myself. I am the owner of the Strong Baddie Cheats, proud owner of a license plate frame that proudly sits on my car. I will be joined by two guests very shortly. I do want to make you aware of one thing. If you are watching through Google Hangouts, or if you want to click the link on the YouTube page right at the bottom left of the video, you can join us by submitting questions for the Q&A. Anything interesting, we'll use it. Otherwise, maybe we'll just laugh at it. But anyway, I'm going to switch on over here. We're going to bring in our guests that we have. Our first guest is the current commissioner of the league. There we go. We've got Mr. Primetime himself there, Mr. Mike Mostrom. Welcome to the first episode of 5 Happy Minutes.
Hey, great to be here. Appreciate it. Looking forward to a good 5 minutes here.
All right. And what would we have in a show about the league if we, along with the commission, did not have Mr. Sunglasses himself, the Stink Train?
The Stink Train. Hey, this Stink Train. I was one minor change away from going unfreaking defeated this past year. If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. I'm just at a loss for words right now. Hopefully that doesn't last though.
And we've got a game going on in the background there. What's the score of the game on Tecmo Bowl right now?
Yeah, it's Bears 24, Buccaneers 6.
Not surprising. Not surprising.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in here. I think one of the first things I want to look at, just maybe so we can get caught up on some of the happenings in the league this year so far. We've had 3 trades. Let's start by taking a look at the first trade. We can just break it down a little, maybe give a little input on where each team was coming from, if they bettered themselves for this year or for the future, or maybe not at all. I think you guys have had a chance to catch up and revisit what the trade was, but the trade was between Jared and Derek Lehman. In this trade, Jared picked up Teddy Bridgewater, the number 10 draft pick, and $10 in cash. Just for the record, Teddy Bridgewater has 4 years left on his contract at $4 a year. Derek Lehman gave all that up in exchange for a 3-year contract for Eli Manning and the number 8 draft pick, Eli getting $18 per year. So let's take a look at that. Either one of you guys want to take that first, or we can go back and forth and give a little input on that.
I'll leave this to second in charge to start.
All right. Obviously, I've given my thoughts on this before. I think that Jared ends up with a better prospect than Teddy Bridgewater. He gets $10 in cash. Teddy Bridgewater is paid $14 less per year. It adds $26 to Lehman's salary this year, all for 2 spots in the draft. Now, it could be 2 huge spots. Last year, that's the difference between having an opportunity to get Odell Beckham Jr. He didn't go 8, but he was available at 8 and was not available there at 10. I like this trade so much more for Jared, which is pretty typical for a Lehman trade, that he gets the bad end of the deal.
Well, I actually would have to agree with my co-commish for once. Not that I love to do that by any means. But, again, if you look at this as far as last year's format, would you rather have Kelvin Benjamin or Terrence West? You brought up Odell Beckham Jr., but at the same time, the number 8 selection was Kelvin Benjamin. The number 10 was Terrence West. I'm taking Benjamin all day long on that.
I second that. I love Kelvin Benjamin, so I'm all on board with that. Anything that makes me look good and when it takes one of my decisions and makes it look good, I'm all for that. But yeah, I think it's around the board here. It's pretty much the same. I guess the only good thing I look at here is, I mean, I'm not big on Derek's pickup here. I mean, he did move up 2 positions, but you never know what guys are going to do in front of you. Trading Teddy Bridgewater, getting Eli Manning, that Bridgewater contract was good. He's young yet, but I think Eli, I just don't know what you're going to get out of him
I was gonna say we by
consistent
this
maybe, but
by this point in his career, we know exactly what Eli Manning is. He had one good year where he was like maybe the eighth best quarterback, and that's his absolute ceiling. Teddy Bridgewater, has a lot of good years left in him, and I don't think that I would have given up on him to move up 2 spots, let alone the cash that exchange hands as well.
But have we seen the best already at Peyton Manning, and how big was that? Or excuse me, Eli Manning. How big was that big year? Just a few years ago, he threw for almost 5,000 yards. Last year, he threw for 44-10 and 30 touchdowns. Teddy Bridgewater didn't come close to that by any means. Now, Bridgewater will get you rushing yards. He's going to get you a few rushing touchdowns. But is he going to come to those passing yards ever in his career? I don't think Teddy Bridgewater puts up 4,500 yards, let alone close to 5,000. So is this as bad of a trade as we all think it is? That's really the question.
Well, and I think the future is gonna tell us that. And obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't see what's going to happen. But you look at past performance and the fact that Bridgewater should continue to get better. But maybe Lehman's making a run now. Maybe he's going to shock us all. He's not playing for the future. He's grabbing a quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. Say that one more time. I just wanted to get that one more time on there.
Anyway, so we'll move off of that. I think we've got time. We've got just under 2 minutes here. I think we could probably take a look at the second trade that we had of the season. Taking a look at the second trade, we had Scott and Doug locked up, and Scott picked up Jimmy Graham, 3 years, $91. He has an option for Doug's 2016 draft pick, and he got $8 in cash. In return, Doug picked up LaShawn McCoy, 3 years, $101 a year. I don't know who signed that free agent deal, but he's a. And then Keenan Allen, 1 year, $1. That's pretty much a nothing deal. But what do you guys think about that?
I don't think there's really a team that benefited completely over the other in this one. But if I had to give a favor to anybody, I'm going to give it to Scott. Scott has a guy, unquestionably the best tight end in the league at this point. Is he paying him a ton of money? He absolutely is. But at the same time, he was stuck paying McCoy even more money, running back who was subpar at best last year. And at the same time, less carries and touchdowns to Darren Sproles, to Polk, among other people. Like, he just was not the same player overall. On top of that, he has the option for Doug's draft pick next year. I'm going to go on a semi-not-deep limb at this point and say Scott will have a better record than Doug next year, and he will obtain that pick. Whether it's 1 pick or 2 picks or 3 picks better, I'm unsure, but Scott is a beneficiary of this trade.
Okay, I got to correct you on one thing. Jimmy Graham, not the best tight end in the game. I'm going to give that to Rob Gronkowski. And I actually like this trade for Doug. I don't hate it for Scott, but Doug, we've been saying all along, needs to add depth. He took 1 starter and made it into 2 starters with this trade. Keenan Allen is going to start for him. LaShawn McCoy, still a top 5, top 7-ish running back. It is a big contract, but it is still only $10 more than what Jimmy is, and he gets Keenan for free, so to speak, than for this year, because there's only a $3 difference in the salary. I think that Doug still makes the playoffs, and once you get into the playoffs, it doesn't. Anything can happen. That the Doug's pick is not guaranteed to be better off than Scott. So it's possible that Scott moves up a few spots, but I think it's 3 spots at the max. So and I think there are going to be low picks either way, because I like both of these guys to make the playoffs next year.
All right. Well, we did go beyond our 5 minutes, which I knew we would do. I want to quick add my 2 cents. Looking at as somebody who signed LaShawn McCoy to a 4-year, $101 a year contract last year, I like Scott in this. I was really disappointed in McCoy. I overpaid for him, but I had the money. I needed to land somebody who was going to help my team. He did anything but help my team, except for when it came to trading him away and getting a draft pick. That's about the only thing he helped me do. So I spent $101 on a draft pick last year for the future. Jimmy Graham, good tight end. He's consistent. I think that counts for something. An option for Doug's draft pick. I agree with what Mike said. I know, Eric, you said it's probably only a few positions higher, but if you can get that pick, you can get a few positions higher, grab somebody, especially getting a tight end the way he did. And then Sean McCoy, he didn't really do Scott a lot of favors last year. Is it going to affect whether either one of them gets into the playoffs? Probably not, but I would rather be in Scott's position than I would in Doug's with that trade. Absolutely. But I guess we're gonna go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't hate the deal from Scott's end either, but I still like it from Doug's end. I think it helps his team for this year for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not a big blow, but all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm a little disappointed in the interaction on the Q&A. I know we've got people watching out there. Maybe you just got to learn how to use it. If you need some tips, let me know. Show you how to use a Q&A.
Is it true if you don't use it, you lose it?
What's that?
Is it true if you don't use it, you lose it? Name that word. 40-year-old virgin.
All right. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up on that note. And for those of you that are watching live and those of you that watch later on demand, so to speak, thank you for doing that, for tuning in for the first episode of 5 Happy Minutes. We'll tackle some other issues down the road. I don't know if this will be weekly, bi-weekly show, what we'll do, but we'll certainly keep you up to date and let you know when we're coming back on. And if you have any questions for offline or suggestions, we'll take those too, as long as they're not derogatory. Those can all be directed to Eric. He likes those, and I'm sure.
I think you promised. I think you promised nudity, didn't you?
I did in the last 5 seconds if we were struggling with our 5-minute time frame, but we've gone over 5 minutes, so we're good. And I'm not going to switch over to Mike's camera right now, so I'm going to keep that promise that we're not going to have it. But all right, well, I think we're good. So again, thanks for those of you that are watching, and leave some comments. Let us know what you think, and hopefully we can keep doing it. So if you guys want a quick sign off, and then we'll throw the logo splash up, and we'll be out of here.
Peace out.
Deuces. Peace.
All right, and thank you everyone very much.